So when you hear the term tax evasion, what do you think? Do you think of some rich guy trying to keep his assets from being justly taxed, trying to make sure that all of his stuff is kept away from the prodding eye of government? Or do you think of someone who, either by right of inheritance or by the hard work, by shrewd business decisions, by whatever means, has amassed property or wealth of some kind that somebody else is trying to take without cause? Think about this. If taxation is theft, then all tax evasion is theft evasion. And you wouldn't criticize someone who knows that there's a mugger around the corner who takes a different route home to avoid the mugger, would you? You wouldn't tell someone that, oh, I think you should go ahead and put your money in that bank over there that has a known record of taking half of your deposits at any given time. Why is it that people get this idea that somehow governments have a duty or a right to tax people, especially rich people? There's this study was led by researchers at the Norwegian University of Life Sciences and the University of Copenhagen. Now, they only studied the wealth of people in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, because those are places where they have detailed records of personal wealth. And they suggested that the tax evasion that they found, they're probably seen at a similar or even higher levels in the super rich in other countries. Basically, what they found is that about 1/100th of the tax that is due actually gets collected. Now, it should be noted that the goal of the researchers was to, and I quote, correct global inequality statistics in a systematic way so as to better capture the very rich. That's kind of the issue here, isn't it? Other people are looking at this money and saying, we need to capture it. How do we get that person's wealth? Well, they could just take a gun and go and demand it, but, that would be theft. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to write a law that demands that that person give up whatever percentage of the wealth that we decide is the just amount that they should give up. What is that amount? 1%? 50%? 70%? 99%? How much of your property does someone else have a right to take? And the reason I ask it that way is it's very easy playing on jealousy, playing on feeling of that inequality issue, like they say right there. This is part of the whole point, is to correct global inequality statistics. It's very easy for people to get sucked into this idea that somehow somebody's not paying their fair share. What is your fair share of my bank account? I would like to humbly suggest that it is 0, my friend. You have not done anything that would indicate that I should give you any of my money. Unless, of course, if we have some kind of a voluntary arrangement and you do something for me and I like what you've done and I pay you for it, well, then certainly you're due to what we agreed upon. But for you to simply look at the money in my bank account and say, you're not paying your fair share, well, that's evil. I'll use that word. It's downright evil. And I'm not defending the super rich. I'm defending everyone who has private property, because right now, sure, they're going after the super rich, but how do you define that? But think about it. Compared to the rest of the world, every single American, even the poorest of the poor among us, are living better than 3/4 of the world. Think about that for just a minute. Does your house have a floor? Do you sleep in a bed? Do you have a refrigerator? Do you have power easily to turn on? Do you have water to drink? Clean water? You're doing better than most of the world. And if you think that somehow somebody has a right to go to the super rich and saying you're not paying your fair share, then the rest of the world has the right to come to you and say, you need to give up your electricity. You need to give up your clean water. You need to give up your standard of living. Why? Because somebody else wants it more than you do. Something to think about? Send me an email. Tell me what you think. Steve@radiofreespeech.com.